Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back with another video, and today I am going to be reviewing Transformers Earthrise, the War for Cybertron Trilogy's Wheeljack. And I am very excited to open him up. Here he is in the box. You can see some nice artwork there. His box art does look fantastic, and I am really eager to take him out of the package and show you all he's worth, because I have been waiting for a decent Wheeljack since the last release, which I will show you guys. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchasing some merch on my Teespring store today. Okay, so here is Wheeljack outside of the package, and I have got to say, I really dig this Wheeljack toy. He is a little bit small, but he is a fantastic looking update to G1 Wheeljack in a lot of ways. He is very poseable. Of course, he's got some posability in his arms. You can move up and down. He does have wrist articulation. You can bend him at his knee. The one thing I will take note of, and I'm sure I will actually be able to address this a little bit later in the video, is this opening right here. It's just kind of part of the transformation, and it kind of like sticks out like a sore thumb on the inside of the legs. And it's not something, normally this stuff that doesn't really bother me, but on this particular toy it actually does. His head sculpt, on the other hand, though, is phenomenal, and you can kind of see it there. There is blue eyes there in his face, which is a great touch to previous Wheeljack toys, which I will show you a little bit later. Of course, he comes with the shoulder cannon, which can come on or off, and it can be placed in his hand if you want to. And of course, the thing is with Wheeljack, he actually fired in the cartoon from the shoulder cannon itself. But this toy in particular is actually really great. He does have a waist articulation. There are a couple of different things that some people have been taking note of, and even I've noticed myself, that may make this toy not like the perfect toy, but he's still a great toy overall. His arms does have a little bit of clearance issues. I find that the spoiler is a little bit small, which later on in this video I will show you an improvement that with this toy, that it is a third-party add-on, and will make this toy pretty great overall. But you can see his posability. It's just amazing how much detailing has been put into this particular Wheeljack, and when I show you the other ones, you'll be able to see the differences that he has made in strides over the years. And just a little bit of comparison, here he is with another deluxe. Here he is with Mirage. Here he is with a Voyager, and that is Earthrise Grapple, which I will eventually do a review on him. And Siege Optimus Prime. And you can see the scaling is really, really nice on him. I know a lot of people are complaining about his height. Some people have pointed out that his feet could be a little bit taller, but it doesn't bother me as much, and you can kind of get him into a stance where he is a height that does work for you. But what a lot of people want to see in comparison to is the previous G1 styled Wheeljack, and that was the one that came out, I would say it's about 10 years now. I think this toy came out maybe 8 years ago, was the Generations or Universe Wheeljack. And this one in particular has like a lot of parts to him. They made the doors, the wings itself, whereas on the Earthrise toy they made the spoiler the wings, and it was a different way about doing it. And this one came with more accessories. He has the wrenches and stuff. The thing is that I do like the detailing on the Earthrise toy a little bit more. This one is a great modern take, but if you want that classic feeling Wheeljack, this is the one to go with. And although he is missing a lot of parts, here he is next to my Generation 1 Wheeljack. The thing is, my Generation 1 Wheeljack is I don't have the spoiler for him, and I don't have the wings. And what really stinks is that the peg for the wings is broken here, so I may have to actually, get a broken G1 Wheeljack just to be able to replace that back plate to be able to get wings to put on him. But it still is nice to be able to see the comparison and how much you can compare the two different versions of Wheeljack. Moving on to transformation, it is a simple transformation. I'm actually going to do it this time because I know a lot of people were complaining about transformation with him in in my cliff jumper video, that I just kind of fast forwarded it because I didn't speak during the transformation. But basically what you're going to do, first thing I do is I turn the wings into a spoiler. You then pull this the chest plate off so you can turn the head on the inside. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move the back part of the car and just position it where you need to, moving the doors, or not the doors, the fists into position so that he's ready in car mode. But you're not going to close them. That's actually going to be like one of the last steps that you do for this particular transformation. You're going to turn the waist around. Now, when you do this, you're going to want to move the chest plate all the way down, because the chest plate itself is actually on a separate piece of rotation so that the waist does have movement as well. So you're going to move it all the way around, and that is going to get the canopy on the inside. And then what you have to do is you have to like open up the legs a little bit. Then see, these parts pop out, and this is kind of like where I find like a weird issue with the toy, is the peg for the front part of the windshield pops out. And it's just something that, it's frustrating. So I popped it back in there, and what you do is you move it up the leg like so. Move the foot down, and it's supposed to line up there. The issue is that you don't know the clearance as you're transforming it unless you have it like pretty much in position, and it's very, very easy to screw it up while you're in mid transform, and that piece there has to go in like so. And I'm finding that the transformation here is one of the most challenging things. It's really easy to do when you're in person, but it's harder to do when you're when you're on camera, clearly. So here you have everything has to like line up just right. Get the feet to line up like so. And you can see why there is a clearance issue with the arms. So that's why you want the arms to be sticking out before you close it up. Okay, so for those of you who are at home and you're trying to figure this out as you're transforming it, something to take note of as you're transforming is there's a peg here as well, and that is where you're supposed to line up first. And then once that is lined up, there is where the peg goes into his arm to be able to pop in properly on this end. And then we're just going to close everything up. Spoiler is all ready to go. And there is Wheeljack in his vehicle mode. Now, getting a good look at him in vehicle mode, he is a fantastic looking update to Wheeljack. He does have a peg on his back, which is where you can store his weapon, and it is a good place for it. However, I do wish there were more peg holes in certain places to be able to maybe place it like on the back. It doesn't really fit, back here, because this is going to end up being the taillights. And when I show you guys the upgrade kit a little bit later in this video, you're going to see that the, having this particular gun is going to be in a different spot. And I also have exhaust, which I haven't taken him out of the package yet. And, I'm thinking about moving this gun to him, but you'll see why in a moment. Okay, and to give a little bit of comparison, here is Earthrise Wheeljack with Optimus Prime, Grapple, and Mirage. So you can kind of see the difference in sizes, and I gotta say, I really, really dig this Wheeljack. And when you see the comparison to the other versions of Wheeljack, you'll be able to see like what I'm talking about. And comparing Wheeljacks, here he is next to the Generations one, and I have to say, while this one is a nicer, bright, more vibrant white, I will say that this version, transforming it is not fun. I actually had more fun transforming the Earthrise Wheeljack in comparison to the Generations one. And here he is next to the G1 Wheeljack, which again, I don't have the spoilers, so it's kind of a little bit of an incomplete toy. One thing to take note of, you know, the head on the Earthrise Wheeljack is where the seat actually is on the original G1 toy, because the original G1 toy was a Diaclone toy, and a Diaclone pilot would actually drive in that seat. So that was the whole idea behind the canopy on the original toy. And I gotta say, again, this does a great job of updating him. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys this one last look at Wheeljack in his vehicle mode before I do any updates to him. And that is this set that I got from TF Safari, which actually adds some fillers. It gives him a new spoiler, gives him tail lights, as well as you know, leg fillers as well on the part that I was complaining about earlier. And I also have Toyhax labels, which I am going to apply now. And this is one last look at Wheeljack before. And here he is after. And boy, is the Toyhax labels making a world of difference to this. Like, this is like night and day. Now, you will notice that the spoiler is a completely different spoiler, and that is because it was one of the parts. In addition, it also came with two knobs to go into the holes here in order to make taillights. I chose to use Dino Dad as the license plate. There is a selection of them that you can use on the Toyhax labels. I actually do like the cell shaded you know, windshield. You know, it's a matter of personal preference, but I really dig that blue windshield, and it really kind of makes the thing pop. Now, the one thing, and the gap fillers for the legs themselves, they are sticking out a little bit on the car, and because of that, the car doesn't sit flat on a surface, and the back wheels move, but the front wheels don't touch the ground anymore. You can still remove them if you don't like that in vehicle mode, but it is something to take note of if you get the replacement parts from TF Safari. Now, in vehicle mode, this just, I mean, the Toyhax labels really make this stand out so much more. I love having the licensing for the Lancia and the Italia. I know it's Italia because, you know, if you guys saw my Wheeljack video, you'd know that they couldn't do it because of licensing, but this actually fixes it. Now, the thing is because I use a different spoiler, this was supposed to go on the spoiler for that came with it stock, and I put it on here, and unfortunately, you can kind of see a little bit of scuff marking in the fold of the spoiler itself, because this is supposed to go up and down a little bit, and that is because the brand new wings are underneath the spoiler, and this is where they sit. So the idea is that you're supposed to be able to move the spoiler up a little bit so you can get the wings out a little bit easier. But because I was trying to keep the licensing on the spoiler itself, it unfortunately doesn't sit very well. I just may remove the side parts here where it says Lancia, and I might just deal with it as it is, and that's perfectly fine. At least it says Italia and Lancia on the spoiler over here, because man, it just looks so much better. And we're gonna go take a look at this thing in robot mode, but before we do, I do want to take note that he does come with an additional blaster. It is a much better blaster than the one that comes with him stock, and it can fold down so you can peg it into his vehicle mode like so, and you can already tell it looks a whole world a lot better. And it also can fold like this, so that you can put this in the shoulder. So we're going to get him into robot mode again. And so here is one last look at Wheeljack before I add the upgrade kit and the Toyhax labels. And yes, Patriot Prime, this is a shout out to you. So this is one last look before. And here he is after. And again, you can really see how much difference the Toyhax labels make. All of the little extra detailing on the arms. There is some stripe work there on his forearms, and of course with the windshield You know, being that blue, it does make him stand out quite a bit. Now you can see the new shoulder cannon sitting on his shoulder looks a lot better than the one that came stock. And the wings that are sticking up, you can see how much they look a lot better, that they are sticking up a lot more than they did before. Now the set came from TF Safari with gap fillers here on the inside of his legs here, and the piece that connects on the back of the legs is what folds over to fill in the inside of his legs. The thing is that, again, the whole vehicle mode transformation also has a little bit of a clearance issue, so you may not like this piece in particular. It does come off very easy. It's supposed to snap in here, and if you want it to be permanent, of course, you can glue it. Personally, I wish it was a little bit more flat on this end, and then the hinge itself, you know, kind of like sat, but it has to do with the way that it's sitting in there in order to make everything work. But overall, I mean, it's just a fantastic looking Wheeljack. I am very pleased with how he came out. I think he's the best Generations Wheeljack that we have gotten. I think it's much better than the previous version that came out. And with the Toyhax labels and the added parts, it makes this Wheeljack that much more complete. And you don't have to do so. You don't have to get the Toyhax labels. You don't have to get the extra parts, but they're there if you want them. And if you still wanted to have him hold his blaster that he comes with, you can. Or what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take this blaster and I'm going to give it to Exhaust so that he has twin, you know, shoulder cannons, even though I understand that it is a different color. That's perfectly fine for me, but it works either way, since Wheeljack always used his shoulder cannon anyway. And it's a great update to Wheeljack. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of Earthrise Wheeljack? And do you think he is the best Wheeljack that has come out so far? Or do you prefer the one that came out previously? Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. I've got many more Transformers videos, including toy reviews and a brand new discussion coming very soon. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you to all of my patrons and all of my channel members for your continued support. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.